So as you can see that my boards are all stained up, the side pieces, the long top pieces that are going to make the border of each quadrant of my game. This has got a few more to do, but I've pretty much shown how I'm going to stain and coat each of them. And once we get the actual playing spaces together, we're going to glue them together with these boards here to make each quadrant, the 10 quadrants that will make up the full game. But before we even get to that stage, before we get to the playing spaces, there's actually one stage that's involved with these actual border spaces that was in my original diagram. Now, as you can see, here's my blueprint that the things I stained are these border regions right here that go around. And if you look very carefully, each one has a name in it that is going to be stenciled right onto the board. So this video is showing you how I'm going to go about that and make these letters that will show you what each quadrant is, or as I should say, what part of the city it represents. And behind me is an example of what I've done. I've actually created the letters that will go onto the board. Now, these are not letters that I will cut out and stick onto the board, because that's not going to last. I took pretty much the 10 different names that I need, and I plotted out how many letters I needed altogether. It only works out to 16 letters. So I created overgrown size letters that are about 8 inches big, but will fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then I printed them out. So I have my 16 letters here, and then what I'm going to do with these is actually glue them onto Bristol board, and once that's set, cut out the letters so I actually have stencils. So I'm making my own stencils, and with these stencils I'll be able to just use spray paint and spray them onto the board, gloss it over, and now the letters are permanent. So pretty much I took some spray glue and took the letters and some Bristol board, cut them down to size, and glued them together. So here's an example W. It's very stiff, and it's ready for me to cut it out with my X-Acto knife blade. And once cut out, here's an example. Here's C. I cut it out, and that's my stencil. So I don't need these, they're not going to be very useful, but with my stencils, even though it's very monotonous and I'm not going to show you a video of me actually cutting each one of these out, but once they're done and that labor is over, these stencils will be very useful to spray on letters anywhere on my board where I need it. So now that all my stencils are done and cut out, what I'm going to do is put them on the header and bottom part of each burrow, the ones that I stained before, and spell out the actual name of each section, or I should say each reflected part of the city. So here I'm going to do this one here, which is Streetsville. Now you could already tell that just by looking at the spelling here that this does not spell Streetsville. Because I only have one of each stencil, like for example I need 2 T's in Streetsville and I only have 1 T, I line up all the amount of letters that I need together so I have a better sense of how much I need for the whole entire region. And once I have a good idea of how much space or how close or apart the letters should be and that they're centered, I will then start spray painting. So now that I have a better sense of how my letters need to be spread out, I'm going to start spray painting. So I'll start with the S. Hold it down, line it up where I want it. And voila, there's my S. And I'm going to do that all the way across until I have Streetsville spelled out. And then of course do it for all the other letters, and my stencil could be reused over and over again. Now as you can see, I'm stenciling 2 boards at a time, but I want to show you something. If you notice this top board right here, that R kind of looks funny, doesn't it? Well, this shows you that, when you're trying to make a world record, nothing is perfect, nothing goes according to plan, and I actually made a mistake there. You see, I woke up very early this morning to get my lettering done because it takes a bit of time to put down a stencil, spray paint it, wait until it dries a bit before you could go on to the next letter. So being groggy and not thinking clearly, I actually put an E down instead of an R. So I had to actually spray over the E, and hopefully that the R looks respectable. So, you know, you try as much as you can to be careful and not to make mistakes, but unfortunately they happen, but hopefully they can be corrected very easily, and I just got to be very cautious from here on out. So there you have it. Here's my two boards, one here and one behind me. For Streetsville, that's one of the 10 boroughs that's in my game, so of course I have another 9 to go. But at least this shows you how I do the stenciling and how I put the letters on the board. So that gives you a taste of what's involved in making the world's largest board game. I look forward to showing you the next video, and I hope you guys stick with me throughout the whole process. I'm the Homie Game Guru. Thanks for watching.